Hi, it is Kelly Ackright here. And today I kind of want to talk to you about how to survive in this crazy world that we're finding ourselves in, right? So it seems like there's all of this chaos and misery anywhere you look in the world, right? And many of my clients, especially those that are more empathic by nature, are feeling kind of overwhelmed by it. And so today I kind of wanted to talk to you about the control you actually have over the situation. So when it comes to everything that's going on out there in the world, right? What happens is we see what's happening, right? And then we have thoughts about what's going on out there, right? And then based on whatever we're thinking about what's happening, then we have all these emotions come up to support the thought, right? And then based on whatever emotions are present, that will totally have an effect on whatever actions we choose to take. So let me give you an example. Okay, so let's say you look out at the situation that's going on in Ukraine right now, right? And you're focusing on what bothers you or what's up, or what's wrong with the whole situation, right? And when you start looking at those kinds of things, then the feelings that come up around that are probably things like being upset or being angry or being frustrated or even being sad, right? And when those kinds of feelings are present, what are the actions that you take? I don't know about you, but I kind of turn into a complainy victim when those kinds of things happen, right? I don't really do much. I just sit around and complain about what's happening and how terrible it is. And the more that I complain about things, the worse it appears to me. And the more things show up in my life to complain about, right? Because we're getting ourselves into that negative loop where we are literally creating more of what we're thinking about. So if we're thinking about all of the chaos and the drama and the upset, we're creating more chaos and upset for ourselves, right? So what if you were to practice looking at things from a different point of view, right? So if you were to focus on what you have to be grateful for, okay? So back to the situation in Ukraine, right? So when you look at that and you can look at some of the hero stories, which there's so many hero stories going on right now in that area of the world, right? And be grateful for the heroes and be grateful for the people that are standing up for their rights and not giving in. Be grateful for the people who are actually safe and being able to find safety elsewhere. So when I focus on those kinds of things, and probably when you focus on them too, then you feel different, right? It makes you feel the emotions of, you feel more peaceful and more loving and perhaps even a little joyful. Like I look at some of the beautiful people that are standing up for their rights, and they inspire me to be a better person. Okay. So when we're in that mindset and we're looking for what there is to be grateful for, and we're allowing those kinds of emotions to swell up, then what kind of actions do we want to take? Well, maybe you want to do something to make a difference, or maybe you just want to go out into the world and tell the people that you love them, right? There's so many different actions that we can take that are kind and loving and more in alignment with that gratitude and that peace and love and joy, right? And going out into the world and expressing that, right? And how different is our life going to be when we're out in the world expressing that love and kindness, right? Because whatever it is we're putting out into the world is what we're going to be receiving back tenfold. So think about it logically. What do you want? Do you want to be putting out that complaining victim stuff and having more things to complain about and be victimized by? Or do you want to be putting out that gratitude and putting out that peace and love and joy and having that return to you tenfold? Really, our gratitude is the key to us being able to have an entirely different experience no matter what's going on outside of us, right? So I want to share with you 3 steps that you can take to kind of ensure that you keep yourself in a good place, even through the difficult times. Okay. So the first step is to catch yourself as quickly as you can when that stinking thinking starts, right? When you start hearing in your head all the fears and the doubts and the, complaints and all that, immediately stop, right? Like I'll literally tell my little itty bitty shitty committee, whoa, you're not welcome here right now, right? And stop and redirect yourself immediately to think of what are 3 things that I'm grateful for right now, right? And it could be anything. I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful that I have my eyesight, and I'm grateful that my lungs have the capacity to breathe, right? Or it could be whatever else, like in that moment comes to you. But what's interesting is when you catch yourself in stinking thinking and you immediately redirect yourself to think of 3 things you're grateful for, no matter how challenging it might seem in the moment that you start shifting your focus onto what you're grateful for, energetically, you start changing. You start realigning to your spirit and who you really are, right? And then once you're in that place, step 2 would be to envision the outcome that you desire, right? So if whatever got your stinking thinking going, say it was the whole issue in Ukraine, okay? So that's really got you going. And then start visualizing what's the outcome that I desire for that area of the world and the people in that area of the world, and start visualizing whatever it is that your ideal outcome would be. For me, it would be seeing them peaceful and joyful and enjoying abundant health and wealth and love and happiness, right? And so once you start envisioning it, actually allow yourself to feel what it would feel like if that were the reality right here in that moment. And you'll start feeling yourself connect into a whole different reality, so to speak, a more peaceful, more loving, more joyful moment. Okay. And then the third step is once you've redirected yourself to gratitude and allow yourself to envision the outcome you desire and really allow yourself to start feeling it and kind of being at one with what that would feel like, then take an action that moves you towards making that outcome a reality, right? So maybe you don't have any control over what's happening in the Ukraine, but you do have the ability to maybe reach out to a loved one and tell them that you're thinking about them today and that you hope that they're having a peaceful, loving, and joyful day. And maybe share something that you learned from this video with them, right? Maybe something that can help uplift them, right? Because the more of us that stay connected to the peace and the love and the joy and the light, that energy moves out into the world, and it keeps the inspired leaders of Ukraine inspired. It keeps them hopeful, knowing that we're kind of the wind beneath their wings, keeping them lifted to the higher possibility. So I hope that this little video is helpful to you, and it would be great if it was helpful, share it with somebody else that you think it might help them too. And thanks so much for your time, and I will look forward to checking in with you again very soon.